How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to the TheBlueShifting. I actually got surprised and almost jump scared by the intro because it starts with the normal intro, but then we click, it zooms in and brings out the blue sky, which was the ending of the true end, which was really fun. It's very sweet. I genuinely thought we were going to be over, like, finished last week, which would have been kind of perfect considering I took a break by going to the convention. But we found this other button, this prelude. I have no clue, earthly clue, how long this is going to be. It could be a one-part shot where it's just like just a glimpse into the past, or maybe it's going to be like this multi-part epic that's going to, kind of encapsulate us and take us for another couple weeks, maybe into the new year. We'll see. I'm pretty much ready though. I've got all my notes and stuff, so I'm all set to do the rap party. So we're gonna play the prelude. We're gonna see where it takes us. We're gonna see how much fun we have and kind of like what's the last little nuggets of inspiration and insight that's going to give us, and then we'll be done with this. And that also means, keep in mind, that we're going to be doing another community vote on what the next game will be. So if you have any recommendations that you haven't made, make them in the Discord channel, or you can put them in the comments here, though the Discord's the better place just because I'll see that and it's kind of archived better. Basically, I try and make note of any games that people are saying they really want to see, or games that I feel would make a good fit for the channel, but I want to gauge based on how the community responds to it. If you are a patron or a channel member, you'll be able to have access to like a preliminary poll where basically I kind of say, hey, are there any honorable mentions or things that you think I should be considering strongly? I narrow it down ultimately to maybe 3 choices, and then those 3 get voted on by the community as a whole. So if you're on the channel at all, you can join in the vote yourself and decide, or at least help decide, one of the things we feature on the channel. So very exciting to do that, and I'm looking forward to seeing what you all think. And when we finish Baldur's Gate, we'll do the same thing with a not visual novel series, but my gosh, Baldur's Gate's taking so long to make. It's just so much editing, and with all the other stuff I'm doing, I can't dedicate like a ton of time to it. If I were doing video schedules that were more like once a week or something, like 1 video a week, I get to get Baldur's Gate done probably on a faster pace, but as it is, I kind of squeeze it in where I can. I'm hoping I'll have some time in the coming weeks where I've got like less work I have to do, so I might be able to do some like good recording and just like kind of smash out some Baldur's Gate stuff right away and kind of push that along. But I'm also worried I'm getting sick because something's torn through like my house and my work, and like it's just rough. So and I'm starting to feel a little weird. I don't know if I'm that far gone as of yet, but I'm kind of keeping an eye on it. Anyway. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for being part of the channel. I'm happy to be here. Happy to be able to share this with you. Let's take a dive into the prelude. So let's get started. All right. What do you got for us? Delusion of Zero, a chaoshead prelude. I'm guessing this is like one of the things that was added with Noah as well. I think most things was added with Noah. Like I think someone said a long time ago in a comment that basically the original ending, like the first ending we got, was like what came with the game. Maybe the B ending where it kind of explains like the whole, like some of the mystery about like who the NewGen killer was, possibly. But even then, like I feel like a lot of content was not there, which means that there were so many questions that just never got addressed. Could you imagine like playing an original game where you only had like the 1 or maybe 2 endings, and then just being like, well, that's all you're gonna get? That'd be rough. Before I pass on, allow me to recount my memories leading to this moment. Imagination is more important than knowledge, for knowledge is limited, whereas imagination embraces the entire world. Those are the words of Albert Einstein. When his delusion, E equals MC squared, embraced the world, how had that man felt? That's not a delusion, though. That's physical reality. Are you implying that because he conceived this idea that energy and the speed of light were intrinsically tied in fundamental aspects of the universe, that they became fundamental aspects of the universe? I don't buy that. That's a stretch and a half. Yes, what you surmise is true. The famous gifted physicist was in fact a good maniac. And a fairly exceptional one. At that, my powers undoubtedly pale in comparison to his. Yet, despite my saying so, I unknowingly brought about a similar delusion into existence. To deny that reality would be a fool's errand, for my delusion has already spread far across the world. Fun to the power of 10 times intelligence to the power of 40 equals IR2. I believe it was in the 4th grade when I materialized that formula. It was also around the time when my body first began to suffer various abnormalities. Ever since its very birth, that delusion has slowly eroded my body. In a mere 6 months, I was no longer able to walk unassisted. So, like, by coming up with that formula, it basically just broke his body. That sucks. At the time, I was not aware of my status as a gigamaniac. I somehow managed to continue attending classes, but I proved unable to participate in an upcoming field trip due to my worsening condition. And so, despite my intense anticipation for the event, my parents forbade me from attending, which birthed in me a fierce resentment toward them for a time. From that moment onward, my delusions continued to engorge, delusions synonymous with nothing but pure envy. These very delusions would go on to injure my classmates who had gone on the field trip without me and killed a chaperoning teacher. Only then did I come to realize I harbored a terrifying power. I was admitted to the hospital soon after. More time would pass, and eventually all the doctors present gave up on diagnosing my condition. All the doctors save for one. Norose Genichi. Oh, he was the doctor? Oh, interesting. Although I was fairly young when I first encountered him, it only took a glance to understand this man's true sinister nature. The two of us were alike, after all, two souls far removed from common sense. Naturally, because of this fact, he proposed a treatment for my condition. His proposed treatment for my condition was denied, and he was dismissed from my case. Fortunate that his successor turned out to be Dr. Takashina. Before Norose departed, however, I took the time to peer into his mind and learned of both Project Noah and Nozomi technology. The very hospital I had been admitted to also served as a lair for my enemy. If nothing was done, my delusion would be utilized by Project Noah and grave consequences would befall the world. Where I realized this, I immediately attempted escape, but that was when I grasped a terrifying truth. Only as a result of my treatment had I come to reach a form of stability. In other words, my body had already deteriorated to a point where I could no longer survive outside the hospital. I was intensely aware of the fact that my enemies were always near. I kept them at bay with delusions, but my body grew weaker, and each person I swayed, with each person I stayed, a vicious cycle that only served to further extend my stay at the hospital. If this were to continue, my capture by Norose would be inevitable. With no other options left to me, I was forced to erase every trace of my existence. I had ceased attending classes sometime prior to that point, so upon my classmates' graduation from elementary school, I executed my plan. Our treatment of Nishijo Takumi has proven successful, and he has thus been discharged from the hospital. That is the fiction I created, one I implanted in the minds of my parents, as well as the entirety of the hospital staff. Any person who had any possibility of coming in contact with Norose was put under these impressions. Then, using my delusions, I isolated myself in a hospital room separated from the rest of the building. But I was not able to alter everyone's memories. Aww, my younger sister Nanami proved to be an exception. Only she was able to enter the room with no semblance of difficulty. She did not even seem to recognize the room as separate from the hospital. Of course, whenever she took it upon herself to visit the hospital, I crafted a delusion allowing her to remain unseen by anyone present. Nanami, while quite childish, showed nothing but concern for me during my time at the hospital. Even on my darkest days, she put forth the best effort to care for me. Those moments showed me how strong she truly was, and I found myself unable to steal her memories away from her. Nanami, however, was not the only exception. There was a time I came to know a girl named Sakihata Rimi. Rimi had been confined into the hospital basement for nearly a year. Every day she would face brutal, ceaseless torture at the hands of Norose, and no matter how hard I tried to call out to her, my voice would never reach her. It was only upon her eventual awakening as a gigamaniac I finally managed to synchronize her with her delusion. In that moment, I entered into the world inside her mind, her image world. Whether that was truly for the best, I have yet to determine. Well, we kind of know that now. The delusion she carries within her are endlessly sorrowful, and yet they are also her reality. Unable to face this, she had killed her own heart and mind numerous times before I met her, destroying all remnants of her past selves. The formula born from my delusion had brought this girl endless suffering. For all the reasons, I saved her. My delusionary powers allow for me to travel anywhere. In reality, my body's still incapable of walking, but I'm able to create a door that leads to any destination. Producing these delusions requires a great deal of strength, however, forcing me to only use it sparingly. And yet, despite these fierce taxes on my body, I would not hesitate to give my life if it meant stopping Project Noah, a project I have effectively founded when I was allowed my delusion to spread across the world. And so, upon isolating myself, I began to pour every ounce of strength into halting the advancement of Project Noah. However, the skill my enemies possessed matched my own, rendering my efforts useless. They had established a defensive strategy, and with it, the search for me had begun. If I were to make even one mistake, I would be discovered in an instant and captured. The manhunt would only serve to increase the danger Nanami was in, and the two of us were family. I had no desire to involve anyone in this fight, so I hid myself away from the world. In the end, I was naive, and 3 years went by entirely wasted. During that time, I conjured numerous delusions, but each will only serve to weaken me further. If this were to continue, there would be no way of stopping Project Noah. For this reason, I decided to give birth to you. To achieve this end, I had to sever every link I had left to society. My final remaining connection to the outside world, to my normal life, was Nanami. Because of this, I was forced to erase all memories she had of me. I know that my action caused her a great deal of pain. In our last moments together, it was clear how deeply hurt she was. Even so, I knew the pain was sure to leave her momentarily. As long as she forgot about me, she'd be able to return to her normal life. Wishing only for her happiness, I liberated her from the burden known as myself. It was with Rimi that I miscalculated. Naturally, I tried to erase her memories as well. Pardon. That's especially cruel if you think about it, because she sacrificed her own memories as a way of self-preservation when she was in the lowest of lows. Then to force her to go through that again when she's finally got memories that maybe are worth retaining. That's crazy. I wanted her to forget about her awakening as a giglomaniac, about her sickly torture at the hands of Norose, and that she had ever met me. I wanted to give her a normal life. However, Rimi is an exceptionally skilled giglomaniac. No matter how many times I tried to overwrite her memories, my delusions were deflected without fail. It was clear she was very experienced in locking away her heart, all while wearing the brightest of smiles on her face. My attempts having borne no fruit, I abandoned all hope of altering her memories, and thus redirected my efforts. Creating a human from nothing proved difficult, even with the power of delusions. I've come to know that the human soul is incredibly delicate, that it is elaborate as it is precise. In order to create you, I forced completely on the personality of delusions would form. An entire month's time, you were all I thought about. In a way, it was quite similar to falling in love, though I myself have never known the feeling. If you were to come to know this, I am sure you'd feel repulsed. Essentially, you are me. My memories, my abilities, and finally my name. I have entrusted them all to you. The moment you were born, I will no longer be the boy known as Nishijo Takumi. From that moment on, I shall take on the moniker Shogun. Why Shogun, you may ask? Well, I quite like Toga Shogun. That is all there is to it. You know what? Fair. At that point, just go with whatever you feel is best. With that being said, once you're born, your role will no doubt be a very painful one. First and foremost, you must awaken as a giglomaniac. To meet this end, you will have to endure an extreme mental load, a grave and unforgiving strain on your psyche. Once you awaken and grasp your D-sword, the battle against Nozomi technology will begin, the battle to stop Project Noah. That is my ultimate goal, and by extension yours. But I would be remiss if I did not say this. My reason for creating you is incredibly selfish, but I had no other choice. I cannot do this on my own. I hope you can find it in yourself to forgive me. When the curtain finally falls, you'll be free. Once you are granted this freedom, please grant me this in turn. I ask that you turn a blind eye to my selfish desires, including forcing these memories upon you. And I ask that you be a good older brother to Nanami. Please. If I had the ability, I would have done this all myself. I would have done it all while dreaming of a peace I would see once it all came to a close. It is a pleasure to meet you, Nishijo Takumi. Yet, this is also goodbye, Nishijo Takumi. Welcome to the world. Harsh battles await you, as do infinite possibilities. As long as the blue sky above exists, the fact can never be denied. You are me. And at the same time, you are also you. A hospital room none would visit, dyed orange by the setting sun. Clutching her knees silently in one of the corners, Sakihata Rimi noticed something strange occurring in Nishijo Takumi's bed. His breathing had quickened. His chest, reduced to mere skin and bone, rose and fell rapidly with each breath. With a low gasp, Rimi watched as the innumerable thorned vines slowly rotated from the bed's center. A delicate construction that appeared both metallic yet organic, with a beauty that rivaled even the most breathtaking of sights. Vines of such description covered the room. They crept and crawled over the walls and floor, overtaking every inch of the closed space between the two resided in. I can't read today! Like the veins of a leaf, shards of translucent glass emerged from the surface of the vines, each pulsing with a flickering red light. Together, it was reminiscent of an 8-headed serpent, each branch possessing its own will. Nishijo Takumi's D-sword. Rimi had seen it only once before, but at the time it had been confined to one of his weak, frail hands wrapped around it tight as could be. Nishijo Takumi remained motionless on the bed. So his D-sword is like a growing plant that like fills this entire room. That would be cool. I wish they could have animated that or like drawn a picture of it. In spite of Rimi's attempts to inhibit him, she realized he had been successful in creating another self. As she gazed upon him, memories resurfaced of the time she had asked him if he intended to die as a result of his actions. To this he had merely nodded. Soon the pulsing glow of the D-sword covered the walls began to dim. Before long, the vines began to dry and crack. As they crumbled away around her, Rimi slowly rose to her feet. Taking care not to run into any thorns, she cautiously made her way over to the bed. Standing by his side, she lifted her hand and gently caressed Shogun's desiccated cheek. Still, he continued to breathe. Would he ever regain consciousness someday? At that moment in time, somewhere in Shibuya, another Nishijo Takumi had been born. Would she ever come to meet him someday? Until that day came, she would continue to wait here. For she had no family. For she had nowhere else to go. For she had no home to return to. No one was waiting for her. Gazing out the window, Rimi looked at the many skyscrapers of Shibuya, each dyed a deep orange by the twilight, as a single trickle of tear slid down her cheek. All this came a mere 18 months before the Shibuya collapse. Dang, Nishijo Takumi was not alive very long. There we go. That's it. Now there's a couple achievements I still haven't done. There's something that's like achieve 100% delusion, which I'm not sure what that's about. Maybe that's meant to be like you see everything, because the others are oh yeah, I guess 100% delusion is probably getting every other achievement, because I still don't have the like see every positive or negative delusion. I'm guessing I must have missed just like one of each, because I feel like I've seen them all, but I imagine I'd have to just plow through everything. Maybe I could do save scumming, where I go to each decision and I like save and then choose each one and then save and move on, and that might be the way I could get that. And then the other one is to unlock all CEs, which again, maybe one of the last ones is being locked behind a delusion. And once I got that, then I would have 100% of the game. So could I do that? Maybe. I might, just because it'd be fun to get it. Like, I like 100%ing a game, especially when it's not too difficult to do so. Like, just because it feels, I don't know, it makes me feel warm and fuzzy inside. But I'm not sure. We'll have to see. But anyway, yeah. So I'm gonna save all my ultimate thoughts for like the wrap party. Which again, if you're newer to the channel, if you haven't ever attended one of these, it's basically a live stream that I archive with this series, where I just go over live everything I think about it. I go from the beginning to the end. I talk about everything I can think of. Usually I do a major dissection of the characters and the story itself, and kind of just give my thoughts, especially about the routes that I didn't showcase on the channel, but that I played on my own. And I kind of just give it all to bear. I like doing it live because it's an opportunity for me to, communicate with everyone else and kind of hear some of the thoughts of people who are really interested in being there for the live stream part of it. Other than that, it's basically just another video, and it's kind of the capstone. And if I do things correctly, I will have done the poll, and we will know by that stream what we're going to be playing next time. But that's challenging because of the way I have to do streams, because the only day I can really do it with work is on Mondays. And so that means that we finish chaosheadnoah, and then within like 3 days, I'm doing the live stream, and that's a short time to try and put to have everything organized. So I'm gonna try and be on top of that, because if I do it correctly, I should have the wrap party the Monday after this goes live. So, good grief, it's like today. It's the week before Christmas, so it'd be the Monday before Christmas that I would be doing that stream, assuming I can do that. Christmas time is also tough because I might be traveling. I could be doing something with family. I don't think I will be for that Monday, but I still, like, we're going to have to play it by ear a little bit just because of the holiday and how all the other stuff that's going on. But tentatively, if you're watching this, there should be a post on the Discord channel around the time this goes live, if not shortly after, where I'm going to officially decide and kind of publish what day I plan to do the wrap party. And I always try and end the wrap party with the announcement of the game we're going to be playing next. So again, final call out. If you have a recommendation, please make it now. You're running out of time, and it might even be to the point by the time you make it that we've already selected and posted the voting, just because of the way this, like, the schedule kind of plays out. But even if that's the case, always feel free to post like something you feel passionately that we should cover on the channel. I archive it, I make note of it, especially even if it's a repeat of what a request that's already been made. It kind of is another reinforcement of like just how important that series is to the community, and makes it more likely it'll be on a vote. I can't say for sure if I have a good solid idea yet of what'll be on there. There's a decent chance that we're going to put Chaos Child there, because I know a lot of people who voted for this game basically wanted me to play it just so I was ready to play Chaos Child. So there's a good chance that'll be on that list. But I want to put a couple others as well, things that I've been chewing on, things that I think would be a good fit for the channel, stuff I've been hearing a lot of people say that they want to see me play. Do keep in mind, though, there are going to be exceptions. There are a few games that people would love to see me play that we can't play, because the people who develop and publish those games have said exclusively no. That's the thing that's blocked me from playing Clanad on the channel and Planetaria, is because both of those are being held hostage, basically. But I'm not going to like strike out and just take a chance on that. There are people who have successfully put partial playthroughs and maybe even full playthroughs of those games on YouTube. But I don't play chicken with publishers. They have money, they can sue, and they can also just take down the content on my channel through YouTube, and I wouldn't be able to do anything about it. Secondly, though, and most importantly, I want those developers to think that I do good things for content that I make, and not see me as someone who's just stealing and posting, re-uploading content that they can't sell if people watch it. So I try and make sure to be like, hey, just because I share these stories, it's more like a review. It's more like an in-depth it's not a review, it's also a commentary, but also the fact that I don't showcase everything purposefully to try and make sure that there's a reason for people to continue to want to purchase the game and play it for themselves beyond just the fun experience of playing it. So that's why that's how it's not going to happen. But I guarantee you, if I ever got a message or they lifted that ban, those games would be hot on the presses, because I really, especially Clanad, the tiny bits I know of it, like the clips from the anime and just like the reviews I've seen, I know that would be a game I would love. I can just tell you right now, I would probably fall in love with it for sure. So hopefully someday. Anyway, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for joining me. This is definitely a very short video because the prelude was very short. I had no way of knowing that for sure, but I'm glad we covered it. It was still good to kind of finally put that like last little blanket on the package and see it all. So thank you so much for joining me for it. I'm looking forward to sharing with you the wrap party as soon as I announce it and as soon as we get it all put together. And I'll just tell everything I think about this series. So we'll get to that as soon as we can. And hopefully we'll have a new exciting game to play starting off for the next year. So thank you so much. And until next video watching me, I'll see you next. I'll see you there.